Hello, my name's Debbie and I work on the Careerpilot team. So while students are working from home, we decided it would be a good idea to put together an online session allowing students to use a Careerpilot website to find out more about their future options. There'll be tasks to do and information to find out, and hopefully by the end of the session you'll learn a little bit more about what you might want to do in the future. So we'll start with this really simple question. So have a look at the 4 pictures on the slide and have a think about what these jobs have in common. I'll just give you a few moments to have a think. Okay, so in these uncertain times with the coronavirus, all of these jobs have been in the news for being key workers. So all of these jobs, the teacher, the nurse or the doctor, the police person and the farmer, have all been at the front line making sure that things are moving smoothly. It might be that you want to do one of these jobs in the future, and the fact that the coronavirus pandemic has given you a different view on what you might want to do in the future. One thing's for sure is that we'll still need these jobs in the future, and it's important to think about how jobs might change and what jobs might disappear and what jobs might appear. And so all of the time when you're planning your career, it's really important to think how jobs might change. So another little task for you to have a think about is some other jobs that you think will survive and some other jobs that you think might become extinct. So have a think about the jobs that you know of or some of the jobs that you might be interested in. Will those jobs still be there in 2023, 2030 and so on? Have a think. Okay, so as I said before, some of the key workers that have appeared in the news recently, they'll all still be needed in the future. Think about how science has been important, IT, data analysis and so on and so forth. And at the front line, the teachers, the care workers, the nurses and so on. Some of the things that might struggle in the future with automation and drones and things changing because of IT might be these jobs listed below. So librarians might be at risk as less people are reading actual books and more books are being released online. Meter readers, so these are people who go out to places who read gas meters or electric meters. So many of your homes now will be converting to smart meters, and so it might be that those meter readers are not needed in the future. Travel agents, more and more people are booking their travel online, and the airline industry could take a real hit after this latest period. Postmen, delivery drivers, so even though there's a lot of demand at the moment for couriers and people dropping off parcels, if the technology advances, as it's predicted to do so, it might be that more of our deliveries are taken over by drones and there might be a less of a need for actual people. Taxi drivers, so this is probably a long way off in the future, but driverless cars might mean that taxi drivers aren't needed because you could simply book an electric car to turn up at your house and that will take you to your place of work or where you are intending to go. So lots of these things need to be thought about, and that might make you think about what you want to do in the future. The types of business that are always going to be needed, we need entrepreneurs, we need people to have the ideas, we need people to carry on inventing things and so on and so forth. And in the news recently you'll have heard about the need for ventilators, the need for personal protective equipment. So all of these businesses that have suddenly been able to change what they do really quickly is something that's really important. So more and more in the future there'll be a need for these people with creative ideas who might be able to start up their own businesses. So a lot to think about. So I'm going to show you a short video now that summarises the important things that you need to think about when you're choosing your future career.
Imagine your life in 10 years' time. Are you being driven to work in your electric car? Eating meatless burgers for lunch with robots cleaning your home? Technology is changing jobs. In 10 years, there'll be lots of new jobs, while others will change or simply disappear. you're likely to be in work for 50 years and have at least 10 different jobs by the time you're 42. Seem like a long way off? A happy future starts with some of the decisions you take in the next few years. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Firstly, know yourself. You are unique. You have likes, dislikes, strengths, qualities, and things you value that are important to you. These things can help you identify a future career. You have skills too, from school, hobbies, work, or volunteering. Imagine you are learning something new, like photography or rock climbing. You will use a range of different skills. Many of these are transferable, skills that you can take from one job to another. Employers love these. The second thing you can do is do stuff. Trying out new stuff makes you feel good about yourself and builds transferable skills. For example, you may or may not pass your driving test first time. It doesn't matter. Learning new things develops transferable skills and increases your ability to bounce back and keep trying. That's called resilience. Skills can lead to part-time jobs, useful cash, and jobs in the future. You can also talk about these skills on job applications and in interviews. So you know what you like and you're good at. You're trying new things and building skills and experiences. What else can you do? The third thing you can do is to make sure you know all your options. Do you know what qualification and grades you need? Will the course or training help you on your journey? Which option would be best for you? And if your plan A looks watertight, always have a plan B and even a plan C just in case. The fourth thing is to make sure you use your supporters. Teachers, family, friends and coaches know you well. They'll help you identify your strengths, skills and interests and help you on your way. If you can, grab a chance to talk to a careers advisor. You'll get individual help with your plan. They're professionally trained and have loads of up-to-date information. They'll listen to you, inspire you and help you create a plan for the future. And there's Careerpilot too. A free website with all the careers information in one place, showing you all your options, including information on jobs, courses and lots more. Use the career tools to find out more about you and save all of this in one place to share with your supporters. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Know yourself. Do stuff and develop your skills. Make sure you know all your options. Use your supporters. Your future starts now. Get ready.
Okay, so you watched the video and hopefully that made it clear what you need to be doing in order to secure the best career for you. So you need to know yourself, do stuff, explore your options and use your supporters. And we'll talk about those things now. So Careerpilot is a free website that's funded by 20 universities across the south of England. It's aimed at years 7 to year 13 to find out more about jobs, careers, courses, skills and so on. It allows you to store your information and save what you've done on the site so that it can follow you into the next year. And even if you're leaving in year 13, you can still look back on what you've done in previous years. You'll get a report and that moves up with you every year, and that allows you to look back or share that with your supporters to show what you're thinking about doing. So today we're going to use a note the start with you function, and this will allow you to find out more about yourself, and that might allow you to start thinking about some of the decisions you need to take next year. So you click on Start With You, and in that section there's lots of quizzes and activities that can get you thinking. So you simply click on activities for your age, and there's year 12 activities that you can work through. Other things that you might want to do is a post-16 skills map, and this is a questionnaire that will allow you to identify the skills that you've already got and compare those with the skills that a job might require. If you're still uncertain about what you want to do after year 13, there's also start with a subject, and that will allow you to look at jobs or careers related to a subject. And so that might be a good starting point for those of you who are unsure. The video also said do stuff. So this means that although your A-levels and BTECs are important and what you're really focusing on over the next 12 to 18 months, you shouldn't stop or give up anything else that you do alongside. So if you do things like cadets or voluntary work, you must try and maintain those. And for those people who haven't yet got an outside or hobby or interest, it's really important to try and do something. When you're applying to university or for an apprenticeship or for work, it's really important to have other things to talk about and not just the things that you've been doing in school or college. So the third thing is to know your options. And again, we'd like you to spend some time today using Careerpilot to really think about what the main options for you as a Year 12 student are. And I'll talk you through the various parts of the site that will be useful. Just a reminder for those people who haven't had this information, and it might have been that your school or college was planning or is planning to do this within the next few weeks or months, just to remind you what the main options for you are when you reach the end of year 13. So at the age of 18, some people will take an academic pathway, which usually means going to a university and studying for a degree. And there are lots and lots of different degree courses that people choose to do. Some people might stay on at college or go to a different college and study for a more vocational pathway. And vocational means that they're courses that are designed for a particular career or job in the future. It might be that you want to start earning, and so for some people a really good option is to try and get an apprenticeship. So an apprenticeship is like a job and you apply for them as you would do a job, but the main difference with an apprenticeship is that there's an element of education and training within that as well. And there are different levels of apprenticeships, so it's worth finding out what the different levels are and the ones that are available in your local area. So just to summarise, there are different degree courses available at university, and again this is something that you could spend time researching. So the difference between a BA, for instance, or the difference between a BEd, what type of course might you be interested in applying for? And for many Year 12 students, that's the crucial thing for the next few weeks and months, is to really sort of think about the course that you want to apply for. College courses are available, and again there are different levels of vocational courses, so it's worth spending a bit of time thinking about what might be on offer there as well. And the apprenticeship pathway, maybe starting to think about some of the apprenticeships that might be available to you in your chosen job sector area. Some students decide to stay local, some students will move away to a university or move away to start an apprenticeship. So again, it's time to start thinking about what would suit you and the costs involved in making that decision. And so again, what will you do once you've finished that particular pathway? For those of you who do an apprenticeship, then it's fairly certain that you'll stay within that particular job sector, or you might choose to do a different apprenticeship. And those of you who carry on an academic or vocational pathway, thinking about what the job might look like or the job might be once you finish that particular course. So there's lots and lots of things to think about. Again, just a reminder for those people who haven't seen this, but the difference in qualifications, there are comparable levels between the three different pathways. So you've completed level 2, so you've already completed your GCSEs or your vocational qualifications. You're now currently at level 3, so you're studying for A-levels or BTECs, and so the next question is what do you do next? So as you'll see from the table, the level 4 qualifications, if you start a degree in year 1, that's equivalent to a level 4. There are other degrees, vocational pathways, courses that again are equivalent to level 4, and a higher apprenticeship is also at that same level. And you can carry on working up through the levels until eventually you reach the same status. So those people who complete a higher apprenticeship will come out with the same level of qualification as those people who go to university and study a degree. So that's a really good important point to make, is that it doesn't actually matter what route you take for many things, you can still achieve the same level of qualification. Some jobs do require you to go to university, so again that's something that you might want to consider, but more and more careers or more and more jobs are opening up apprenticeship opportunities. So today, again, just to explain the parts of the site that you're going to be using, you'll have spent a little bit of time looking at yourself and start with you, and then you can move on to looking at explore your options by looking at the range of options that are available to you at Choices at 18, and you might look at different parts of the site. You might start looking at the apprenticeships that are available today for sort of the current year 13s. Obviously that might be impacted by the current situation, but just get a feel from the Explore Your Options part of the website of all the information that's available to you on the Careerpilot website. And again, I'll be showing you that shortly. Once you've worked through the website, there's an ability to bookmark pages and save things that you've looked at, save any results to your quizzes, or things that you've looked at within the job sectors. Within Career Tools, this will all be saved, and then you can look back at this at a later date. So this person has completed quite a lot on the Career Tools, and this is what their report looks like once they've tagged many of the things on Careerpilot. So it might be that towards the end of the session, you'll have ticked off a lot of these things, and when you click on View Your Full Report, you'll have quite a lot of data there that can be shared with a careers advisor, a tutor, or a parent. And that report moves up with you each year, so when you start year 13, that information will still be available to you. So this is just a summary of what we're going to be doing today. So we'd like you to either register to use Careerpilot. It might be that you've already used the site, in which case you just need to sign in. Don't worry if you've forgotten your password. You might have used the site way back. There is a forgotten password facility, so that's fine. And then you can look at adding your qualifications. So this is just sort of plan where you're currently at and where you might go in the future. Explore your options. You can explore all the other options, apprenticeships and so on. And then at the end, you can have a look at your report and see all the things that you've managed to complete on the Careerpilot site. And just a reminder that the fourth thing that was shown on the video is to use your supporters. So during all of this, no matter if you're at home, before you return to school, or even when we return to school, it's really important to ask your supporters for advice. That might be your parents, your family, your teachers, careers advisors, and obviously come back to the Careerpilot site if you want to clarify anything of interest. At the end of this session, you might also want to set yourself some actions using the action planner, and again I'll show you how to do that shortly. So now I'm just going to switch my screens and show you Careerpilot and the different parts of the site that you can use. Okay, so you get to Careerpilot simply by clicking, typing in Careerpilot into Google, and it will be one of the top 2 matches that comes up. And this is what it looks like when you actually get there. So for those of you who have not got an account, who have not used Careerpilot before, you simply click on register and it will ask you to fill in all your details. You can use your school email address or your personal email address. The advantage of using a personal email address is that that can be used again once you've left your school or college. You set yourself a password, put in your home postcode, and that's simply to allow us to see which regions are using Careerpilot. You then put yourself into your school, and you do that by simply starting to type the name of your school and then or college, and it should appear then in the drop-down list, and you simply click on that school. You then can change your year group to year 12, and you enter your capture code, and this will be different each time, and that's just to prove that you're not a robot or a spammer. And so you type that into the box and you carry on. So I've already got an account, and some of you may have already got an account. So you can simply sign in rather than register again, and you type in your email address that you used and your password. And as I said previously, don't worry if you've forgotten your password, because you can simply click on the forgotten password button and it will send you an email to reset your button. So when you sign in or register, this is a page that you will get to, and you'll tell that it's been successful because your name will appear in the top right hand side. So you're now going to start with you, and this, remember, is where you can find out more about yourself, and that might help you if you're not sure about what you want to do in the future. You could start with a subject and find out jobs that are related to a favourite subject, and that might give you some ideas. Or it might be that you can look at job sectors, or it might be that you do a post-16 skills map, and that's an activity that allows you to identify the skills that you've already got. For those of you who are thinking about applying for an apprenticeship in year 13 or applying to university, it's a really good starting point to find out more about what you skills have got. So if you want to be advised which order to take these activities, you click on activities for age group and obviously click on year 12, start here. So the first thing it advises you to do is register or sign in, which you've already done, and then you can work through the remaining activities. So the first one is My Qualifications. So you simply click on the button and it will take you to qualifications. Now I've actually added my qualifications, but if I hadn't added any qualifications, this is the table that you would get taken to. So this again shows you the different levels of qualifications. You can click on GCSEs and say that you've done those, which you have. Then if you're doing A-levels, you can click on A-levels and click doing this, or if you're doing a BTEC, then you can click on the vocational qualification that you're doing. And then the next bit is trying to work out which pathway you're thinking of doing. So it might be that you're not sure yet, in which case you could tick one or two. So if you're considering a degree at university, you could tick that button, or if you're thinking of an apprenticeship, you could tick on that button. So really it's just sort of planning out your pathway and learning more about the different qualifications. Each of these is a hyperlink, so you could click on that and it will tell you a little bit more about what each one of those qualifications is. So you're really just tagging and bookmarking the qualifications that you're currently doing and the ones that you're intending to do. You could go a step further and you could put in the grades that you've achieved at GCSE by clicking on subject detail, or you could log the subjects that you're doing at A-level, and that is in this bit here. So you could add your subjects and you could put in your predicted grades there, just so it's all in one place. So that's qualifications. That's the first thing that we think it would be useful to do, just to log the qualifications and the ones that you are thinking of doing in the future. The next activities and activities for your age, just go back, click on year 12, so you've completed 1 and 2. The next thing is to do the post-16 skills map quiz. So you simply click on the link and that will take you to the quiz, and the quiz will ask you a number of questions of things that you have been doing, and then you simply complete that and that will give you some ideas of the skills that you've got, and that will help when it comes to applying for university or apprenticeship work. You could then go and explore job sectors. So this is where you can find out more about job sectors and jobs and salaries and qualifications and so on. And there's also a job quiz. So again, for those people who aren't sure about what they want to do, they can do the job quiz. Now I've done this already, that's why I've got a different screen. So when I did the job quiz, the computer generated these strong matches. So a strong match for childcare, education and training based on the answers to the quiz. And so that would prompt me then to go and look further at those different options. These are all the jobs that I've been looking at. So as you can see, I've been looking at a fairly different range of jobs, but I can simply go back to any one of those and have a look at the job profile page, because all of this has been saved within my job sectors. So just to remind you how to get to those things, if you click on jobs, there's an option of looking at a job by simply typing in the name of the job, and that will take you straight to the page that you're interested in looking at. You could look via a sector, sort of science, maths, agriculture, click on that, start with the subject, and this is where you find the job quiz. The Careerometer is a nice little tool. Within that, you could type in 3 different jobs, and then it will display or compare the key labour market information on those 3 different jobs. So a really quick way of comparing different jobs. So to summarise, we've tagged your qualifications. You may have completed the post-16 skills map. You may have finished looking at the job sectors. And so the last thing to do then, just to remind you to go back to the activities by your age, year 12, just to remind you that you've done all of these things, and all of those things will have been saved within your career tools. The last few things to do is explore the other options. So look at choices at 18 and find out more about that. You might want to look at some more information about higher education, so you can click on that link, look at different open days. A lot of the open days will be virtual this year, and then there'll be more hopefully face-to-face in the autumn term. But find out more about all of these different options. And if you do want to have a little bit of a look at what's available currently in terms of apprenticeships, there's a link there to the Careerpilot course search, in which you can look at university courses, vocational courses, or apprenticeship vacancies. So as you can see, there's a lot to do there, a lot of things that will help hopefully in helping you find out more about what you might want to do in the future. Have an explore and see what you can find. Other things that I'll just quickly show you, there's lots of videos that might be useful. So if you click on the stories tab, there's hundreds of videos, and they're categorized into different things, so you can quickly and easily find one that might be relevant to you. You could go on providers and have a look at some local providers to you and what they are offering, and you'll see that there's a map there which you can drill down on and click on the various hyperlinks to see what's in your local area. And other things, if you have parents who want to find out more, you can click on the parent zone, and again there's a choices at 18 section that's for them, so you could direct your parents to that particular part of the site, and that will help them maybe find out some of the answers to the common questions. Once you've finished all of this, then might be an idea to sort of plan what you need to do next, and that might be to arrange a careers advice session, or it might be to speak to a tutor about your predicted grades, or it might be to organise a visit to an open day, or it might be that if you've not got a lot of work experience so far, maybe to sort out some work experience. Whatever it might be, ideally, if you can set yourself some action points, just simply by clicking on new action point and typing it in and setting a date for when you want to achieve it by, that's all there as well. Just to remind you how I got to that, that's in plan your next steps, use the action planner. So ideally set yourself some actions for the rest of this academic year. So they're all the things that we think it would be useful if you had to have a go at. So have a go, find out answers to your questions, maybe find out ideas as to what you're going to do next, and then that will hopefully help. So hopefully that's been useful, and once you've spent some time, we suggest at least 60 minutes or an hour on the site. That will give you some ideas as to what to do for the future and where you might plan to go. If you do find it's been useful, we'd really appreciate your feedback. So if you want to give some feedback, the link to the Survey Monkey is there. It won't work as a hyperlink. Obviously, this is a video, but if you can type that into a web browser, it should take you to a Year 12 online session feedback, and we'll be picking out some winners before the end of this academic year. So thank you for listening, and thank you for using Careerpilot to plan your next steps